Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we're breaking down our final top 5 heroes within the Dimensional faction. Now overall, when it comes to the Dimensional heroes and when it comes to utility, there are no Awakens, so of course we don't have to worry about this. But again, when you look at these heroes in multiple game modes, there's not a lot of them that are used in a ton of different places, but let's break down those top 5, starting with number 1, which of course remains to be Rem. Now, Rem, when it comes to damage, when it comes to best in slot in a lot of formations, Ulna Rem really replaced Ulna Grez like we've seen. Rem is super strong if you can keep the hero alive. Now, of course, the crowd control that Amelia puts out, support from a lot of other heroes, buffing from a lot of other heroes can amplify the damage that Rem is doing. Now, looking in here, one of the heroes that absolutely I would recommend building up to that plus 40 signature item. Now, for a majority of players, plus 30 will be good enough, but when you start looking at that plus 40, all damage Rem deals with their Morning Stars increased by 40%. Now, you have a 40% increase in damage right there, which is very nice. 75% of this additional damage ignores enemy shield. So if you are in the PvP aspect and they are running a team that has shielding, this is still going to go through those shields. And of course, Rem, the higher you build her, the better it is going to scale, the more damage that she is going to be putting out. Plus 30 is good. Plus 40 for this hero is even better. Now, looking at the in 9 of 9, absolutely. The healing mana skill triggers when an allied hero takes fatal damage. Also restores their energy by 500 points. That is right, guys. That is 50% of an ultimate ability if she is doing 500 points, which is kind of crazy to think that essentially she can keep heroes alive, which is awesome, because now when you look big picture with a lot of other heroes that provide crowd control, also have that fatality immunity or that cheat death, it seems like a lot of heroes are getting that, which is super strong. And then for this engraving, we are doing a 67, which is exactly where I do have her built. So taking her and adding more stats on there, again, when they fall into kind of the consistency of damage dealers, when you really want to start pushing the envelope with this heroes, it's about adding more stats on there. You get the multiplication factor because, of course, most of these, when we go in, an extra 24% attack plus some physical pierce on top of a hero that is already very, very well developed and built, plus 40 signature item. Even the furniture for my personal Rem is much higher than that 9 of 9. You are starting to stack those percentages, allowing her to really amplify the damage that we're seeing in AFK Arena. Rem still dominates the #1 slot for the Dimensional heroes, which is awesome to see. Close second is, of course, the crossover event with Amelia. Amelia, instant crowd control, energy regeneration. There's not much else you need to say with a mage. When it comes to the PvP aspect, the crowd control, and again, that energy regeneration makes a big difference getting this plus 30 signature item. When an enemy hero other than Amelia deals damage to a frozen enemy, the allied hero recovers 100 energy points. This can be triggered once every 3 seconds. So again, you come into battle, she freezes everybody. Everybody who is doing damage to those targets that are frozen are triggering that 100 energy points, which means ultimate abilities come very, very fast when you're running in a team with Amelia. This is why I'm running in, her in campaign formations, also the Temporal Rift and all other game modes. She is still being run. Now, in addition, as a mage hero that is heavy crowd control, she actually does a considerable amount of damage when you do have her built, which is very cool as well. Looking at the furniture, 9 of 9 is really good. When both the enemy and allied heroes use their ultimate ability while Puck is asleep, Amelia gains energy is increased to 200 points. That is right, with the energy regeneration, you're going to get that ultimate ability again, being able to freeze them and creating this super cycle with the frozen enemies and the energy regeneration from the heroes that are attacking those frozen enemies. Now, when it comes to the engraving, you don't really need the 60 on here. I know I did build her up a little bit higher, but overall, they are just recommending a 41 right here. Allied heroes outside of the zone will receive it's half its strength, so you actually get half of an ability when you are outside of her zone. And then, of course, this one, it doesn't really seem to do very much. I know some people have said that the PvP aspect, this really does make a big difference. But overall, I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen a huge effect. But she definitely comes in at number 2. The number 3 is an oldie but goodie, which is Albedo. Now, of course, Albedo being a tank, not only can, again, kind of do the cheat death where if she takes fatal damage, she's actually going to go immune. But the big thing with her is the plus 30 signature item. During battle, the attack rating of all dimensional heroes are increased by 15% for every dimensional hero that is in the formation. So when you look at Rem with Amelia with Albedo, that is a super strong combination. The effects of this skill can stack up to 3 times. Now, as you can see, the plus 40, and I get this question a lot, during the battle, the attack rating of all dimensional heroes are increased to 20. You're going from that 15 to 20 for every dimensional hero in the formation. The effect can, the skill can stack up to 3 times. You're getting a little bit more of a buff out of there, but the question is, and this is what we're going to see kind of here in the near future, is if we get some new dimensional heroes that are very strong, it may be required to actually get Albedo to that plus 40 signature item, because if we're looking at Rem and Amelia, they do incredibly well, but once you start getting into a much higher combat rating, so if we have a crossover with 2 other heroes, 1 or 2 of those other heroes are damage dealers, we might see a resurgent again of Albedo. We've seen the Ainz and Albedo, they were always run together. Albedo lost a little bit of ground because we didn't have very many heroes. Then Rem and Amelia come out, and all of a sudden, Albedo is the #1 priority again to build in conjunction with Rem and Amelia, and does incredibly well. Now, of course, the plus 30 signature item, 3 of 9 furniture is all you need. Now, you'll quickly notice that if you do not have Albedo with the 3 of 9 furniture, she literally dies and just dies out probably as fast as Lucius does. But overall, this is what gives her the cheat death. She enters a rage when she takes that fatal damage, which means this is the cheat death that she has to actually live. If she doesn't, you're actually going to have issues with her survivability. So 303 basic build on Albedo will work incredibly well, coming in at number 3. Now, number 4, still a lot of utility for a hero that was not a crossover, or not kind of a crossover. I guess Mulan could be considered. But Mulan overall, crowd control aspect, still used in the Treasure Scramble a couple different places. Also used as a sub within the Cursed Realm and the Nightmare Corridor. And overall, guys, plus 30 signature item on here. Mulan can parry control effects that are about to be inflicted. While parrying, she is immune to control effects. So if somebody goes to crowd control, and again, huge when it comes to the PvP aspect, when she goes to get crowd controlled, she parries it and becomes immune to the crowd control effect, which is pretty cool. Now, the in 9 of 9, absolutely, she will enter the battle in cavalry mode, ride through a couple times, leaps off, does crowd control, which is awesome. So she knocks them airborne. Very, very cool ability. And then she just literally goes to town with attacking. But overall, having this crowd control at the very beginning does make a big difference. And then, of course, the engraving, we're looking at a 41 engraving. Now, I did build her up to a 60. This is before Flying Kick. Mulan destroys all of the target shields, rendering them unable to acquire a new shield. Now, there isn't very many heroes in the AFK arena that actually go through and destroy all of the shields, which again, with the PvP aspect, this can really be a game changer when you're going and getting into formations, when you start looking at the hero. And the final one coming in at number 5 is, of course, Merlin. We are still seeing a lot of utility with Merlin for the damage mitigation factor, but it's funny because, again, we talk about this with a lot of heroes, the cheat death. So if he takes fatal damage, I believe he actually turns into the owl and he takes off, and then he is actually reborn. So plus 30 signature item, absolutely in here. The amount of health Merlin loses as a result of taking damage for his ally will be reduced 50%. Its skill targets 2 allies. You want the 9 of 9 furniture on here. Merlin can immediately use the skill Destiny Unforeseen when he enters. So he comes into battle, he casts this with a 50% extended duration the moment he walks into battle. And then, of course, the plus 30 engraving is what you're looking for to get out of here. Enemies lose health equal to 180% of Merlin's attack rating every second. Getting that a little bit higher, you want to build him out. And again, these heroes that come from the shop are a lot easier to acquire when it comes to the dimensionals. Now, one thing to note with this is when it comes to the dimensional heroes, you want to focus on, and you only want to use emblems of space to build out these heroes. When you're getting them out of the Arcane Labyrinth, you are going to use the emblems of space to actually build these up, versus using everything else that we get for the red chest and for the epic emblems. You're going to save and you're going to build these out with those with those emblems of space. Really the best way to do it. So, all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about our dimensional heroes. And as always, thank you guys for watching.